So for immigrants that come to this country, learn a bit of English but have a complex because they don't have the best. What do you think about?
Accent is a very interesting topic in the world. Some accents are cute and funny. Some accents sounds like mafia. When you think about accents, it always triggers some sort of like a prejudice. Honestly, I hope that people don't get offended. This is how I feel. When you pick up the phone and somebody start talking, you call a tech support, what kind of accent that you're expecting? I highly doubt you're expecting a Russian accent. You're expecting an Indian accent. So that is the prejudice I'm talking about. You go to nail salon, for example. You go to dry cleaning. Probably you kind of expecting some sort of Asian accent, isn't it? So accents is also interesting topic in the US. It's always associated to some sort of like preconditioned thought, which is prejudice. I had an interesting experience. It was a first time I was in Harvard. It was 2015, I guess. And it was a program called Launching New Venture, which is like entrepreneurs around the world. They were taking that program. Out of 180 people, I think, in the cohort, maybe 30 of them were in the US. The rest was from Brazil, Argentina, Turkey, and they create groups. So 8 to 10 people will be one group. In my group, I had a guy, he was from Brazil, and his English was so broken and his accent was so strong. It was hard to understand him. And he was around 55 years old. And what do you think? Oh, this guy, he's trying to learn entrepreneurship with broken English. So you never I didn't think highly about him in terms of his success, his competency. I didn't think highly of him. So my prejudice was he was an okay guy. And we had this assignment. We all have to talk about how did we end up in Harvard Business School for that program. It's just like icebreaker. So I had a guy in that group. He was from Malaysia or something. And this guy was a private jet seller. His business is sells private jet. He's like, oh, let me tell you something very interesting. Last month, I sold a jet for $80 million. And he said, there's lots of Chinese officials. They buy jets because they have money laundry. So they buy jet for 80 million, 100 million. They rarely use it. They just buy it, park it there because they don't know how to move around their money. So this is one of the way there. So that's what I do. The guy was pretty proud of himself. Very interesting group. The second guy says, that Brazilian guy, the very strong accent. Oh, he said, the reason I'm here is I had this cleaning company. I think his business was hospitals and hotels. They have sheets and towels and all the clothes from nurses that were in hospital. His job, I think he had the biggest cleaning business in Brazil. So he was serving those commercial clients. His job was literally washing it up, sanitizing it, dry clean it, whatever. So he was packaging it and sending it to hospitals and hotels. That was his business. He was the founder and CEO of the biggest business in Brazil. And he's like, some Portuguese company, they want to acquire us. So I sold my company for $300 million. He's like, I'm retired now. I don't know what to do. So I'm taking this course called Launching New Venture. So I'm going to learn entrepreneurship. Maybe I'm going to invest. Maybe I'm going to start a new business. So that's why I'm here. First time I saw him, because of his English, I felt like he was nobody because he has a broken English, strong accent. After hearing his story, I am nobody. He's so successful. $300 million exit, largest cleaning company in Brazil. So that later on, I read a book called The CEO Next Door. I think this is very common phenomenon. If somebody has accent or broken English in the business world, it's automatically translated into less competency. If somebody really speaks sophisticated English and this guy sounds like a freaking CNN anchor, what the hell? You listen to his English, you feel like a loser. So that also translated into false competency. In our company that I believe, I also made those mistakes as well. I'm an immigrant. I started this company. And since you're immigrant, normally you hire immigrant people as well. Initial employee is going to be somebody in your network that you know. So that's how we started with the immigrant employees. And then later on, at some point, we had more than 300 employees. So we started hiring people. They were born and raised in America. Literally, I still feel like I am not completely American, versus somebody was born and raised here. Because there's still, I don't know about American history, the culture. Sometimes people make a joke and they laugh. Why the hell they're laughing? But when I make Turkish joke or Uyghur joke, it's very funny to me and the American people look at me, what the hell? So that's how I feel sometimes. So over time, I think we made the same mistake. In the company, there were employees. They spoke sophisticated English, man. You listen to their English. It was so strategic. It sounded like a research paper. You listen to their English, you felt like a loser. And there are some immigrants, you listen to their English, probably you want to punch them on the face. So their English was sound with very strong accent and translate into less competency. And just because somebody was born in the US, they spoke sophisticated English and it was automatically translated into high competency. So over time, what we did is one of the mistakes is people spoke better English with excellent accent. There's no accent at all. We default to their decision. Lots of people like even immigrants, they would have some inferiority complex. Oh, he's saying something, it must be right. Or she's saying something, it must be right because they're real American, we're not. So like as a company, you kind of default into lots of wrong decision based on that. And over time, when you take a wrong decision, sometimes the consequences you're going to see after 1 or 2 years. You're not going to see immediately. So after we're taking maybe hundreds of decisions, and then we're like, you know what? These immigrants with broken accents, with broken English, actually they were really, really good. But unfortunately, we thought they're less competent. So they had a better accent. So we thought it was more competency. Whatever they say is right. So then we follow the strategy or the steps or decision. And after many, many months, and the company overall suffered. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I should have taken it very seriously. In 2015, when I attended Harvard Business School, I felt like he's nobody. And it was like, oh, I sold my company with $300 million. So that should be a wake-up call for me. I think this is one of the interesting issue around accent. What do I recommend? I believe I do have some accents. When I came to US, I didn't speak English, but I did work hard to speak good English. So it helped in business. It helped me to be more successful in my career when I was working for tech. It helped me to be more successful when I'm running business. Now still it's helping me because I can speak, and that's why I have a little bit audience in English speaking world as well. So I'm still benefiting from better English. So if you're immigrant, I think one of the things that you should do is, of course you're going to have accent, but do your best to learn English really well. 1. 2, some immigrants, I feel like they force themselves so much to sound like a American white dude on a TV. So if you force too much, it's just going to make it like irritating. It's like it becomes so cliche. Sometimes it can be counterproductive. You are who you are. That's the most beautiful thing. I think I accepted my accent. It's not a bad thing. So you cannot sound, if you came to the United States after 20 years old, I think it's going to be hard to be able to sound like somebody on TV news speaker. If you force too much, you're going to sound cliche and fake. But authenticity is beautiful because authentic, original, organic is beautiful. So fix it as much as you can. So you don't want to pronounce world. Other day, I took one of the probably top hacker in the world to an oil restaurant. He's like, oh, can you bring vinegar? I was like, hey, bro, it's not vinegar, it's a vinegar. So there's something that you can learn, like pronunciation, like words, you can fix it. That's important. Also, it's important to not sound fake. And for those who is making hiring decision, who is having a startup, for example, looking for a co-founder, or who is have a team member, let's say you work for a tech company, I'm pretty sure you're going to have multiple Indian like colleagues or from different regions of the world. You don't want to automatically think that somebody has better English is equal to better competency and they know all the strategies. So I think it's just balance. You want to evaluate the conversation, the strategy, the decision, what they talk about based on the substance of what they talk about by eliminating the accent part. So I think it's just balancing approach. So at the end of the day, we're all immigrants. America is beautiful with immigrants. 200 years ago, this country started with immigrants. I think some of the people who signed for Declaration of Independence, they were first or second generation immigrants as well. Immigrants are beautiful, and sometimes your accent is also beautiful. So don't feel bad or don't get too comfortable. At the same time, don't always translate bad English is equal to less competency, and the good English is translated into high competency. So you just have to watch out, and good luck with your language learning journey.